If you want to get rich young, stop believing money lies. These 8 truths will wake you up, force you to level up, and change your financial life forever. Most people don't go broke because they're reckless. They go broke because they get comfortable, and comfort doesn't announce itself. It doesn't crash into your life with sirens and warning signs. It slips in quietly, disguised as normal, deserved, or just this once. That it starts with the little things. A coffee you could easily make at home. An Uber ride that saves you 5 minutes. A subscription you barely use but never cancel. A weekend outing that's more about boredom than joy. Nothing dramatic. Nothing painful. Just tiny decisions that feel harmless in the moment. But here's the truth that most people never see. Comfort is the most expensive lifestyle you will ever buy because it charges interest. Not financial interest. Mental interest. Lifestyle interest. Identity interest. Because every time you choose comfort over discipline, you're not just spending money. You're reinforcing a habit. A pattern. A belief. And those beliefs silently shape the direction of your life. You don't notice it at first. Why would you? A few dollars here, a few dollars there, it feels like nothing. Pennies? Pocket change. An amount so small, it barely registers in your mind. But pennies turn into patterns. Patterns turn into routines. And routines, repeated long enough, become your destiny. Comfort doesn't empty your bank account overnight. It empties your potential over time. One day, you wake up and the truth hits you, not all at once, but like a slow, heavy wave. You're not stuck because you're unlucky. You're not struggling because you're not smart. You're not behind because life is unfair. You're stuck because you've been living on autopilot. Your choices weren't conscious, they were automatic. You didn't spend too much money. You spent too many moments not paying attention, and that realization stings. But it also frees you. Because if the problem isn't luck, if the problem isn't the economy, if the problem isn't the world, if the problem is simply autopilot, then you can change everything the moment you wake up. This is the real awakening. The moment where your inner voice finally speaks louder than your habits. The moment you look at your life with absolute honesty, not judgment, not shame, but clarity. You start noticing things you used to ignore. The $200 gym membership you never use. The outfits you buy but only wear once. The weekly dinners that don't bring joy, only bills. The gadgets that promise convenience but deliver debt. The 10-minute dopamine hits that drain your long-term ambitions. But the biggest realization isn't even about money. It's about identity. Because you begin to see the truth, your bank account is just a reflection of your patterns. Your lifestyle is just a reflection of your decisions. Your future is just a reflection of your discipline. And suddenly, everything becomes clear. You don't need to be smarter. You don't need to be richer. You don't need to wait for a better time. You don't need a miracle. You just need to reclaim control. You feel something shift inside you, a spark, a fire, a moment of absolute resolve. You say to yourself, no more drifting. No more autopilot. No more letting today steal from tomorrow. No more comfortable choices that keep me stuck. This is not a loud moment. It's not dramatic. It's not a movie scene. It's quiet, simple, powerful. It's the moment where you stop being a passenger in your own life and grab the steering wheel with both hands. This decision, this tiny internal shift, becomes the first brick in the foundation of your financial power. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You start noticing every choice, every habit, every purchase, every moment where comfort tries to pull you back into its warm, familiar grip. Comfort isn't your enemy, but it is your limiter, your ceiling, your invisible cage. And from this moment forward, you refuse to let comfort cost you your future. You begin to choose intention over impulse, discipline over convenience, clarity over autopilot, long-term gain over short-term relief. You start saying, I don't need this right now. I can wait. I can choose differently. I'm building something bigger, and your life begins to shift, not overnight, but undeniably, because wealth doesn't start with money. It starts with awareness. Success doesn't start with luck. It starts with discipline. And transformation doesn't start with a new year, or a new plan, or a new opportunity. It starts with a single moment of awakening, the moment you decide you're done living small. This is that moment. The moment where you stop being the passenger and become the architect. The moment where your excuses lose power. The moment where your habits face judgment. The moment where your future finally becomes yours again. This is the moment where you say, I am taking control. I am building discipline. I am shaping my future. I am investing in myself, not in comfort. Wealth doesn't start with money. It starts with discipline long before the first dollar is saved or invested. Because wealth isn't built by chance. It's built by the small, invisible choices you make when nobody is watching. The moments where your desires pull one way but your discipline pulls the other. This is the first true battle of financial freedom. Discipline versus desire. And for most people, desire wins. Not because they're weak. Not because they're irresponsible. But because desire is loud, while discipline is quiet. Desire demands attention. It shows up as a craving, an impulse, a temptation wrapped in convenience. Buy it now. You deserve this. It's only a little. One more won't hurt. It's the Amazon cart that fills itself. The Starbucks run that feels like a ritual. The subscription you forgot you even had. The sale notification that tricks you into thinking you're saving money by spending it. Desire makes you act fast. Discipline asks you to slow down. And that's where the battle begins. Because building wealth is not just about earning more, it's about learning how not to sabotage the income you already have. Most people don't go broke from one big purchase. They go broke from 1,000 small ones, driven by desire and justified by emotion. But once you understand this, something powerful shifts. You stop seeing discipline as restriction and start seeing it as protection. Discipline protects your time. Discipline protects your paycheck. Discipline protects your future from the version of you that wants everything right now. And the truth is simple: if you can win the battle against desire, you can win every other financial battle that comes after it. Discipline isn't about saying no to everything. It's about learning when to say not right now. It's about building a moment of pause between your impulse and your action. That pause, that tiny gap of awareness, is the birthplace of wealth. Because in that moment you can choose differently. Instead of reacting, you start evaluating. Instead of buying out of emotion, you make decisions with intention. Instead of letting desire control you, you let clarity guide you. You begin asking new questions. Does this add value to my life? Is this improving my future or just satisfying my present? Am I buying this because I need it, or because I'm bored, stressed, or searching for a quick hit of happiness? These questions shift your thinking. And once your thinking changes, your spending follows. Maybe you don't order delivery tonight not because you can't afford it, but because you're choosing to keep control. Maybe you skip that impulse purchase not because you're depriving yourself, but because you're investing in something bigger. Maybe you let something stay in your cart for 24 hours and then realize you didn't need it after all. That's discipline. Not punishment. Not restriction. Just conscious choice. The wealthiest people in the world don't win because they have more money. They win because they have more self-control. They have learned to delay the small pleasures so they can build the big rewards. And here's what most people never understand. Discipline is not a talent. It's not a personality trait. It's not something you're born with. Discipline is a muscle. It grows every time you use it. Every time you pause. Every time you choose long-term over short-term. Every time you put your future above your impulses. And just like any muscle, discipline becomes stronger than desire when you train it consistently. The first few times are the hardest. You feel the pull of habit. You feel the itch of impulse. You feel the urge to reward yourself. But soon, something new begins happening. You start trusting yourself. You start liking the feeling of control. You start appreciating the choices that support your goals. You start noticing that you didn't actually need most of the things you used to buy without thinking. That's when the shift becomes permanent. The world tells you to spend. Ads, influencers, society, everything around you encourages desire. Buy this. Upgrade that. Treat yourself. Live your best life. But you're no longer reacting to noise. You're thinking for yourself now. And that makes you unstoppable. Because once discipline becomes your default, desire loses its power. You no longer chase temporary satisfaction, you chase progress. You chase freedom. You chase the future you're building little by little, day by day. You realize that the coffee you skip today becomes part of your investment tomorrow. The impulse you resist becomes a habit you master. The decisions you make with intention become the foundation of your wealth. And the more you practice discipline, the more natural it feels. The more peaceful it becomes. The more you understand that desire isn't the enemy reacting to desire is. You don't need to eliminate desire. You just need to manage it, guide it, control it. Because discipline doesn't remove your desires. It redirects them. You start wanting savings more than shopping. You start wanting security more than status. You start wanting growth more than gratification. You start wanting your future more than your impulse. And that's when you realize the most empowering truth of all: you never needed more money. You needed more clarity, more awareness, more control, and once you have that, you're ready for the next step, the shift from surviving to building. Financial freedom is not complicated. It's not reserved for the lucky, the gifted, or the privileged. It's not some secret code only wealthy people know. Financial freedom is simple. But the world makes it feel impossible. And there's a reason for that. You live in a system designed to keep you consuming. Not because you're weak. Not because you're irresponsible. But because distraction is profitable. The economy doesn't grow when you save. It grows when you spend. So everything around you, from marketing to technology to culture, is engineered to keep your attention scattered and your wallet open. It starts early. You're taught that spending is normal. That comfort is the goal. That treating yourself is self-care. That the best moments in life have a price tag attached. You're surrounded by phrases like, buy now, pay later. 0 down. No interest for 12 months. Exclusive offer ending tonight. Everything is urgent. Everything is tempting. Everything is designed to bypass your thinking and trigger your emotion. The world tells you that saving is a sacrifice. That discipline is boring. That delayed gratification is old-fashioned. That the future can wait because today deserves the spotlight. But wealth builders, they see through the illusion. They understand that the world is not built to make them rich. The world is built to keep them comfortable enough not to ask questions, but distracted enough not to look up. Once you learn this, everything changes. Look at the systems around you. Fast loans. Money you can borrow in 30 seconds but spend the next 5 years paying back. Credit cards with invisible traps. Reward points on the front end, 28% interest hiding behind the curtain. Buy now, pay later culture. Turning everyday wants into long-term obligations. Subscriptions. $4.99 here, $12.99. They're so small you don't notice them until they silently drain thousands in a year. Advertisements engineered with psychology. Colors, sounds, timing, everything calculated to bypass logic and hit emotion. This isn't random. This is design. Billions of dollars are spent every year on research to figure out one thing: how to make you buy more. Because the truth is simple: a distracted person is an easier person to control. A distracted mind makes impulsive choices. A distracted consumer never questions the price. A distracted life never stops to ask, is this helping me or is this training me? But once the illusion breaks, once you see the machine for what it really is, you gain a level of power most people never touch in their entire lives. The power to choose differently. This is the real awakening, not the moment you start saving, but the moment you start seeing. You start noticing how every ad is trying to create a problem so it can sell you the solution. You start noticing that limited time offers are rarely limited. You start noticing that social media doesn't show reality, it shows a highlight reel designed to make you feel behind so you keep buying to catch up. You begin to see how the world pulls your attention away from your goals. One notification, one sale, one distraction, one impulse, and then it repeats, day after day, click after click, purchase after purchase. But when you're awake, the spell breaks. You're no longer hypnotized by the noise. You're no longer emotionally triggered by every advertisement. You're no longer comparing your life to carefully curated images. You're no longer buying to feel better, you're building to become better. And that shift is everything. Because the moment you see the illusion, you realize something powerful. You were never bad with money. You were surrounded by systems designed to keep you from becoming good at it. You were never undisciplined, you were simply overstimulated. You were never irresponsible, you were distracted. And distraction is the real enemy of wealth. Wealth is built slowly, quietly, intentionally. Distraction is constant, loud, and tempting. One pulls you forward. The other keeps you stuck. But once you understand this tug of war, you can choose your side. You start creating new rules. I don't buy to impress. I don't spend to escape. I don't chase trends, I chase growth. I don't let the world decide what I want. I don't buy just because it's easy, I buy because it's right. And every time you repeat these rules, you reclaim a little more of your power. You take back your focus. You take back your time. You take back your money. You take back your life. You start treating your attention like your most valuable currency because it is. You begin to protect it, guard it, control it. Instead of asking, what can I buy today, you begin asking, what am I building this month? What habits move me forward? What choices protect my future? And that's when wealth truly begins. Not when you make more money. Not when you land a better job. Not when you start investing. It begins the day you see the illusion for what it is. A system built to keep you consuming instead of creating. Distracted instead of focused. Comfortable instead of powerful. You are now awake. You are now aware. You now understand a truth most people never realize. Financial freedom was never the problem. Distraction was. And once you remove the distraction, once you take back control of your attention, you unlock a freedom far greater than money. You unlock the freedom to choose your life on purpose. You unlock the freedom to build, not drift. To grow, not consume. To create, not react. To own your future, not rent it from the world. You unlock the freedom to become the person you were always capable of becoming, the person hidden behind a lifetime of noise and temptation. And that is the moment you step into your power. The moment you rise above the illusion. The moment you break the system that was designed to break you. The moment you start choosing your future, instead of being sold your future. Wealth doesn't start with numbers. It starts with identity. Because the truth no one tells you is this: you cannot build a new life with the same mindset that built your old one. Money follows identity. Success follows self-image. Discipline follows the story you tell yourself every day. If you still see yourself as the person who tries to manage money, you will continue to try and fail. If you see yourself as someone who wants to be better, you will keep wanting without ever becoming. Transformation begins the moment you stop negotiating with your limitations and start aligning with your future. This is the shift wealthy people make early. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait to have more money. They don't wait for motivation. They decide who they are, and their behavior follows that decision. Identity before income. People think rich individuals are successful because of what they do. But the truth is deeper. They are successful because of who they believe they are. Before they earn more, they become more. They build habits long before those habits pay off. They track their spending before it matters. They invest small amounts before they have large amounts. They protect their time before their time becomes expensive. They guard their mind before people expect anything from them. Wealth is not an event. It is an identity you grow into, one standard, one decision, one disciplined action at a time. The identity you must leave behind. You can't carry your old identity into your new life. The identity that loves comfort. The identity that spends to feel better. The identity that thinks, "I deserve it," is a reason to buy something. The identity that believes debt is normal. The identity that waits for inspiration instead of creating discipline. That version of you kept you alive, but it won't build your future. There comes a time when you look at your habits and you realize, this is not who I want to be anymore. And that moment becomes the birthplace of your new self. The identity you must grow into. Your future requires a different version of you. A person who thinks clearly under pressure. A person who prioritizes growth over gratification. A person who doesn't buy everything they want because they want something bigger. A person who understands that every dollar has a job, and every habit has a cost. So you begin to act like someone who respects money. Not with fear, not with obsession, but with intention. You plan purchases the way successful people plan their days, with clarity, not impulse. You cut what doesn't serve you, not because you're restricting yourself, but because you're protecting your future. You build systems not because life is easier with them, but because without them you will drift back into who you used to be. This is identity. This is transformation. This is wealth at its roots. The small actions that redefine you. Identity is not changed through big moments, it is changed through the small choices repeated until they become who you are. You begin tracking your spending not to punish yourself, but to understand yourself. You plan your purchases because wealthy people don't hope to stay disciplined. They create conditions where discipline becomes natural. You invest before you spend because your future deserves the first piece, not the leftover scraps. You cut unnecessary habits because excess is the enemy of growth. You protect your time because money can be regained, but wasted time is unrecoverable. You guard your mind because the world sells distraction and you are no longer buying. Each action becomes a vote for the identity you are building. And each vote becomes evidence, proof that you are no longer the person who settles. Becoming someone you respect. People think success is about being motivated. It's not. Success is about becoming someone you refuse to disappoint. When you elevate your identity, you raise your standards. And when you raise your standards, your habits have no choice but to rise with them. You start saying things like, I don't spend without thinking. I don't buy what I don't need. I invest before I indulge. I finish what I start. I follow through even when it's inconvenient. Suddenly, discipline is no longer a fight. It's simply part of who you are. This is the identity shift that separates people who wish for success from those who build it. Your future self is watching. Imagine meeting the version of you 5 years from now. The version with clarity. The version with wealth. The version with confidence. The version who is no longer scared of the future. That person will not thank you for your comfort, they will thank you for your discipline. They will thank you for every choice you made when no one was watching. Every sacrifice that felt small. Every moment you said no to the old you so you could grow into the new you. Because identity is not an idea, it is a lifelong contract. A contract you sign with your future through the actions you take in the present. This is your becoming. You are not just managing money. You are reshaping your character. You are elevating your standards. You are building a mindset that cannot be manipulated, distracted, or broken. You are becoming the kind of person wealth gravitates toward because wealth always follows discipline, and discipline always follows identity. This is the evolution that changes everything. This is how you step into the life you were meant to live. You are building a new identity that your future will thank you for. When people think about financial failure, they often imagine a sudden, catastrophic event. A stock market crash. A huge debt. A failed business. But the truth is far more subtle. It's rarely the big, dramatic mistakes that destroy wealth. It's the small, quiet, almost invisible habits. The tiny leaks you don't notice. The habits that feel harmless, the patterns that seem insignificant until they accumulate over years. These are the silent killers of financial freedom. The habits you think are harmless, consider the casual takeout meals. $12 here, $15 there. Maybe you justify it because you worked hard today. Or because you deserve a treat. On its own, it's nothing. But 5 days a week, every week, for a year, that adds up to over $3,000. Enough to fund a solid emergency fund. Enough to invest in a retirement account. Then there's comfort shopping. A new outfit, a small gadget, an impulse purchase online. It's fun. It's harmless. Until you look back and realize hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars vanish in months and nothing substantial was gained. Quick convenience buys, the coffee, the snack, the "I'll just grab this" items feel tiny. $5. $7. $10. But like water on a stone, tiny drops erode over time. They quietly shape your financial reality. And don't forget the subscriptions that renew quietly. Spotify, Netflix, fitness apps, meal kits, premium memberships you forgot you even signed up for. $10 here, $15 there. Invisible spending, and yet it accumulates into hundreds of dollars every year, silently draining your wealth. All of these habits share one thing in common. They feel inconsequential. They are easy to ignore. And they are designed to be ignored. The world encourages them. Society celebrates comfort. Technology rewards distraction. And if you don't pay attention, these small habits become the chains that hold you back financially. The mindset that keeps you stuck. Many people say, "It's just a few dollars. I'll make it back later." It doesn't matter. This mindset is lethal. Because just a few dollars is the seed of financial stagnation. It teaches your brain that money is disposable. It trains you to value comfort over growth. It reinforces a habit of reacting rather than planning. And while small mistakes may feel minor, consistency compounds them. Repeatedly choosing comfort over discipline, impulse over intention, convenience over control, that is how people remain trapped. Contrast that with wealth builders. The people who achieve financial freedom don't rely on luck or magic. They rely on awareness and consistency. They treat every dollar with intention. They know that money is energy, not just currency. Every dollar spent or saved sends a signal to their brain and ultimately shapes the financial reality they experience. Awareness is your first weapon. The moment you become aware of these silent leaks, everything changes. Imagine this. You glance at your bank statement. You see $60 gone to takeout in a single week. $30 gone to unused subscriptions. $50 spent on impulsive online shopping. Instead of ignoring it, you pause. You notice. You acknowledge. This small act of awareness is powerful. It's the first step in stopping the leaks. The first step in reclaiming control. Because once you see where your money is slipping away, you can do something about it. Practical steps to stop the leaks. Stopping the silent killers doesn't require heroics. It requires intention and small, deliberate actions. Track every dollar. Know where your money goes every single week. When you see the pattern, you can change the pattern. Cut unnecessary subscriptions. Pause. Review. Cancel what isn't bringing value. Every little monthly expense adds up to freedom. Plan your purchases. Impulse spending is the silent enemy. Ask yourself, do I need this or do I want this? Then wait 24 hours. If it still matters, buy it. If not, skip it. Set intentional limits. Create rules for eating out, shopping, and online spending. Make them realistic, small enough to challenge habit, big enough to be sustainable. Invest before you spend. Treat your future self as a priority. Even a small contribution each month compounds over time. Redefine convenience. Ask, is this small convenience worth my long-term goal? Often the answer is no. Replace bad habits with better ones. Instead of taking out for lunch, meal prep once a week. Instead of scrolling online for hours, use the time to learn, plan, or invest in yourself. Every small action repeated consistently becomes a vote for your financial freedom. Every small sacrifice becomes proof that you are no longer letting tiny habits dictate your life. The compounding effect. Here's the key truth. Wealth is built slowly, quietly, and deliberately. The same way small leaks erode your wealth, small, intentional actions compound it. A $5 coffee skipped every day? That's $1,825 per year. A $15 monthly subscription canceled? That's $180 per year. Investing that money instead? With just 7% annual growth, it becomes thousands in 5 years. The math is simple. The power is quiet. But the impact is enormous. The mindset shift that changes everything. Once you stop letting tiny habits leak your energy and your money, you gain something even greater than the dollars themselves. Control over your decisions, confidence in your ability to manage life. Freedom to direct your resources toward growth. Strength to resist the distractions that everyone else succumbs to. Silent killers thrive in the background. But when you shine light on them, they disappear. When you become aware, you reclaim power. When you act consistently, you create space for opportunity. From awareness to action. The wealthiest people are not those who never made mistakes. They are those who stopped letting small, repeated mistakes define them. They understood early that a few dollars adds up. Consistency compounds. Every choice shapes their future, and once you adopt this mindset, life changes. You start seeing every dollar as a tool. Every habit as a choice. Every small decision as a vote for the person you want to become. Suddenly, you are no longer at the mercy of silent leaks. You are in control. You are intentional. You are powerful. The payoff, space for growth. When you stop the silent killers, you do more than just save money. You create space for opportunity, you create space for growth. You create space for strength, you create space for your future self to thrive. Every tiny habit corrected multiplies over months and years. What once seemed insignificant becomes the foundation for massive progress. And here's the truth most people miss. Wealth isn't built in a day. It's built in thousands of small, deliberate choices that accumulate quietly behind the scenes, while the world is distracted. Your call to awareness. Start today. Look at your habits. See the small leaks that drain your potential. Track, plan, adjust, and repeat. Every dollar saved. Every impulsive buy paused. Every unnecessary subscription was canceled. Every small sacrifice made intentionally. These are not sacrifices. They are investments in your freedom. They are the foundation of your wealth. They are the silent victories that compound into unstoppable success. Stop letting the little things quietly destroy your future. Start taking control of your finances, your habits, and your life. Because consistency beats comfort. Discipline beats impulse. There's a moment, subtle, almost imperceptible, when your life begins to change. It doesn't happen with a headline. It doesn't happen with a sudden windfall. It happens quietly, through the systems you've put in place and the discipline you've been building day after day. And then one morning you notice something different. Your savings account is no longer stagnant. It's growing. Not fast but steadily. It breathes. It exists as a tangible reminder that your effort matters. Your debt, the one that once felt like an anchor around your neck, begins to shrink. You make your first intentional overpayment. You see the number go down. And for the first time in months, maybe years, it feels like freedom is possible. Your income feels different too. Heavier. More meaningful. Not because it's suddenly larger, but because you're treating it with intention. Every dollar is accounted for. Every decision is purposeful. You begin thinking in terms of months and years, not days and weeks. Long-term thinking replaces reactionary spending, and then, almost without noticing it, a new force emerges. Momentum. Momentum is addictive. It's subtle at first. A small win in your savings. A debt payment made on time. A tiny investment set up. But momentum grows quickly. It fuels focus. It sharpens clarity. It feeds confidence. And it makes you realize something profound. You were capable all along. You didn't lack intelligence. You didn't lack opportunity. You simply lacked a system and the spark to ignite it. The spark that changes everything. Momentum is born when preparation meets action. It's the moment when your habits finally align with your goals, and the results, however small, begin to show. Maybe it's the first time you check your bank account and realize your discretionary spending is now under control. Maybe it's seeing your first $50 automated into your investment account and feeling a thrill of ownership. Maybe it's completing a week of disciplined meal prep instead of taking out daily, realizing you've saved $70 in just 7 days. These first wins are not flashy. They're quiet. They're subtle, but they are proof. Proof that you are no longer drifting. Proof that you are no longer surviving. Proof that you are building. And that proof changes everything. The psychology of early wins. Here's what psychologists and wealth coaches have long understood. Early wins matter more than big wins. Small victories build confidence. Small victories reinforce habits. Small victories create belief. The brain responds to momentum. Each success, no matter how small, releases a chemical reward. Your confidence grows. Your focus sharpens. Your motivation becomes self-sustaining. This is why the first victories are so dangerous to ignore. They are signals. Signals that your systems are working. Signals that your effort is paying off. Signals that your identity is shifting from someone who survives paycheck to paycheck, to someone who builds, who plans, who grows. Concrete wins. You can celebrate your first wins. Don't have to be dramatic. In fact, the subtler they are, the more powerful they can be in creating sustainable change. Savings growth. Watching your emergency fund climb $50, $100, $500 at a time. Feeling the weight of security slowly replaces anxiety. Debt reduction. Every payment you make chips away at the chains of obligation. Seeing that number shrink is tangible proof that your freedom is growing. Investments. The first time you set up automatic contributions to your retirement account or brokerage. You see it growing even slowly and realize time is on your side. Budget mastery. A month where your spending aligns with your plan, leaving room for both growth and enjoyment. Each of these wins is more than just a number. It's evidence. Evidence that your choices matter. Evidence that the future you've been building is becoming real. Momentum is a force multiplier. Once momentum starts, it doesn't just stay in one area. It spreads. It seeps into every aspect of your life. You begin thinking differently. You begin acting differently. You stop reacting to external pressures. You stop being distracted by minor temptations. Your financial decisions become intentional, precise, and aligned with your long-term vision. And here's the most powerful part. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action generates more momentum. It's a loop. A positive feedback system. And once you're in it, it's hard to stop. The emotional shift before momentum. Managing money may have felt stressful. A chore. A burden. Something you avoided until it forced itself into your consciousness. But the first wins change your relationship with money. They shift it from anxiety to empowerment. From fear to focus. From survival to creation. You start looking forward to financial tasks, not dreading them. You start celebrating small achievements instead of ignoring them. You start recognizing that discipline is not deprivation, it's liberation. The proof you've been waiting for. These early victories are not just about numbers. They are proof of something deeper, proof that your choices matter, proof that your habits can change, proof that your future self is possible, proof that the version of you capable of wealth and freedom already exists. The first wins are whispers of your potential. They tell you, you are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your current circumstances. You are capable of creating more than you imagined. From surviving to building. For too long, your life may have felt like a reaction. Reacting to bills, to expenses, to external pressures. Reacting to temptations. Reacting to the chaos around you. But now, with your first wins, something changes. You stop reacting. You start planning. You stop surviving. You start building. Every decision, every small victory, every moment of discipline compounds. You begin to construct a life that is no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You begin designing your own future, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. The new hunger. Momentum is addictive. Once you feel it, you crave more. You become hungry not for instant gratification, but for growth. You become focused, not distracted by fleeting temptations, but aligned with long-term goals. You begin to realize that what once seemed impossible is now achievable. And that the person who survived yesterday is capable of building a life that thrives tomorrow. Your first wins are just the beginning. The first victories are small, but they are powerful. They are the spark that lights the fire. They are proof that your system works. They are evidence that you are no longer drifting. And while these wins may feel modest, a small increase in savings, a tiny debt payment, the first investment contribution, their impact is enormous. They change how you feel about money, they change how you act, they change how you see yourself. And once you see yourself as someone who builds, not just survives, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You are no longer surviving. You are no longer reacting. You are no longer hoping for change. You are building. You are creating. You are rising. Your first wins are proof, and proof is everything. They tell you, you are capable. You are disciplined. You are powerful. And this is only the beginning. There is a part of the journey to wealth and freedom that almost no one talks about. It's not flashy. It's not celebrated on social media. It doesn't make for an Instagram post or a viral TikTok. And yet, It is the make or break phase, the moment where ordinary people fall off and extraordinary people rise. This is the sacrifice phase. The moment it hits you, it starts subtly. One morning you open your bank account and realize your savings growth is slower than you imagined. A few small expenses here and there make you question whether the grind is worth it. You skip the daily latte and a tiny voice whispers, "You deserve it. One day won't hurt." You pass on that new gadget or outfit and your friends cheerfully remind you, "Life is too short, treat yourself." You resist convenience and entertainment for the sake of investing or paying down debt, and suddenly life feels heavier. This is the moment the sacrifice phase begins. That IT is quiet. It is subtle. That IT feels like an invisible weight pressing down on your shoulders, and this is exactly where most people give up. Why most people quit? They quit not because they are weak. They quit not because they lack intelligence or opportunity. They quit because growth requires discomfort, and discomfort is a language most people avoid. Humans are wired for comfort. We seek ease, instant gratification, and safety. Our brains are designed to resist pain and effort. And wealth building is neither easy nor convenient. It demands that you delay gratification, resist temptation, and make choices that feel uncomfortable in the short term. Yet the truth is clear. Nothing worthwhile comes without sacrifice. That if you quit now, your life will remain similar to what it has always been. If you push through, even for a little longer, the trajectory changes. The path to freedom, to wealth, to momentum, it is paved with small, repeated acts of sacrifice. The nature of sacrifice does not mean deprivation. It does not mean you can never enjoy life again. It simply means choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. A coffee you skip today is not lost. It is invested in your future. A night out you pass on is not a punishment. It is a vote for the life you are building. Every time you resist impulse spending, every time you prioritize growth over comfort, you are training your mind, your habits, and your identity. The sacrifice phase is essentially a test. Will you persist when the reward feels distant? Will you continue when your old habits whisper, "It's too hard"? Will you endure when others around you are still chasing comfort? Examples of real sacrifices. Let's be concrete. Daily small expenses. That $5 coffee, $10 lunch, or $7 snack may feel insignificant. But skipped consistently, they free hundreds or thousands of dollars per year. That money can fund savings, investments, or debt repayment. Impulse shopping. That new gadget, outfit, or accessory, it's tempting, but delaying gratification builds financial muscle. Choosing your future over fleeting desire is the essence of sacrifice. Subscriptions and conveniences, monthly memberships, streaming services, premium apps, when examined closely, many quietly drain resources. Sacrificing them temporarily creates room for intentional investments. Time. Sacrifice is not just financial. It's also about time. Choosing to spend evenings learning, planning, or budgeting rather than scrolling social media is a small, often invisible act of discipline. Each sacrifice may feel minor in isolation, but their cumulative effect is enormous. The psychological battle, the sacrifice phase, is as much mental as it is practical. You will feel moments of doubt. Is this really worth it? Why am I doing this when others are enjoying life? I'll catch up later. These thoughts are normal. They are your brain's way of protecting you from discomfort. They are the mental version of temptation, pulling you back to old habits. What separates winners from quitters is perspective. Winners see sacrifice as temporary. Winners see discomfort as growth. Winners understand that the choices they make now determine the life they will live in 5, 10, 20 years. The rewards of pushing through. Sacrifice is heavy. It feels limiting. It tests your patience. But when you endure, a profound shift occurs. Your habits strengthen. Your self-discipline grows. Your momentum, which may have started in earlier acts, begins to accelerate. The things you resisted, impulsive purchases, distractions, comforts, now amplify your freedom. Your savings are higher. Your debt is lower. Your investments start compounding. Your confidence grows because you know you can endure. And here's the secret. Most people will never get to this point. When you persevere through the sacrifice phase, you separate yourself from the 99% who quit. You rise above the crowd. You take control. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. Practical steps to survive the sacrifice phase. Visualize the outcome. Keep your long-term goals in front of you. A clear vision makes temporary discomfort bearable. Track every small win. Even a single skipped latte or invested $20 is a victory. Small wins compound into confidence. Replace, don't just remove. Instead of focusing on what you give up, replace habits with something that serves your future. Meal prep instead of takeout. Reading or skill building instead of scrolling social media. Create accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust. Even small accountability systems make it easier to endure temporary discomfort. Celebrate milestones. Recognize progress along the way. Sacrifice doesn't mean punishing yourself, it means investing in your future self. Identity transformation through sacrifice. The sacrifice phase is not just about money. It's about rewiring your identity. Every time you resist a temptation, you are teaching yourself, I am disciplined, that I can delay gratification, that I choose my future over comfort. These lessons stick. They become habits. They become character traits. And this is why sacrifice is so powerful. It shapes not just your finances but your identity. It prepares you to handle greater wealth, greater responsibility, and greater freedom. A temporary phase with permanent results. Remember this. The sacrifice phase is not forever. It lasts long enough to build your future. Long enough to shift your habits, strengthen your mind, and create systems that sustain wealth and freedom. Once you pass through it, the discomfort diminishes. You no longer resist, you act naturally, intentionally, and confidently. Your sacrifices become investments. Your effort becomes momentum. Your discipline becomes freedom, your call to endure. When the path feels heavy, remember why you started. When old habits whisper, remember who you are becoming. When comfort tempts you, remember the life you are building. Most people quit at this stage. But you, if you persist, will rise. You will emerge stronger. You will emerge wealthier. You will emerge transformed. The sacrifice phase is difficult, yes. But it is also your gateway. Your proving ground, your secret advantage. Those who endure are no longer ordinary. They are the architects of their future. They are the 1% who rise above the masses. And it begins with a simple choice: to stay consistent, to embrace discomfort, and to push forward even when it feels heavy. Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not bridged by luck. It is bridged by sacrifice. And your future self is waiting on the other side. A shift. Subtle at first, but undeniable. You wake up one morning and notice something different. Discipline no longer feels like punishment. Saving no longer feels restrictive. Investing no longer feels like a chore, it excites you. Your vision is sharper, clear, focused. It's as if the fog that once clouded your financial future has lifted. And in that moment you realize, you didn't just change your finances. You changed your identity. You changed your trajectory. This is the breakthrough. The moment of realization. Maybe it starts small. You log into your investment account and see growth, small, but undeniable. That $20 weekly contribution, which felt almost invisible months ago, has begun to compound. You see the numbers climbing. Slowly at first, then faster. Your heart beats a little faster. Excitement. Validation. Proof that effort pays off. Or perhaps it's debt. You pay off your last credit card. The number hits zero. No more minimum payments. No more late fees. No more stress. You feel the weight lift off your shoulders, not just financially but mentally and emotionally. Or maybe it's your savings. For the first time, your emergency fund surpasses a milestone you once thought impossible. It's no longer a dream. It's reality. You are building safety, security, freedom. Each of these moments, seemingly small on the surface, carries enormous weight, because they are proof. Proof that you can do what most people cannot. The emotional transformation breakthrough isn't just about money. It's about how you feel about yourself. You no longer fear your finances. You no longer stress over bills. You no longer let temptation control your choices. Instead, you feel empowered, focused, in control. Every decision, from spending to investing, carries purpose. Every dollar, every hour, every choice becomes a tool in building the life you want. The world hasn't changed. The temptations are still there, the ads, the social pressure, the easy conveniences. But you have changed. You are no longer a passenger in your life. You are the driver. And the road ahead is wide open. The identity shift. Here's the key truth about breakthrough. It's never just financial. It's identity level. The person who struggled yesterday is gone. The person who procrastinated, splurged, and lived paycheck to paycheck no longer exists. In their place is someone new, someone disciplined, someone focused, someone capable of long-term thinking. You no longer chase money. You attract it through action, consistency, and mindset. You no longer react to circumstances. You create circumstances through design. The breakthrough isn't about reaching a number in your bank account. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands wealth. It's about rewriting your financial destiny from the inside out. Concrete milestones of breakthrough. To make it tangible, here's what breakthrough can feel like in real life. Investments grow steadily. That $50 monthly contribution to your retirement account is no longer invisible. You see it compounding. Your future self is already benefiting. Debt disappears. The last loan, the final credit card, the lingering student debt gone. And with it, stress and anxiety melt away. Savings milestones. Your emergency fund, once a dream, now surpasses your target. You feel secure, prepared, confident. Budget mastery. You no longer struggle to align spending with goals. You control your money, it doesn't control you. Every milestone reinforces your identity. Every win proves your discipline works. Every result fuels momentum, creating a cycle that propels you forward faster than ever. The psychology of breakthrough is as much mental as it is financial. Before, discipline felt heavy. Saving felt restrictive. Investing felt confusing. Now these actions feel natural, intuitive, rewarding. The brain has shifted. Your habits have aligned with your goals. Your identity has evolved. This is why breakthrough is sustainable, because it isn't external. It isn't based on luck, market timing, or external approval. It is internal, built into who you are. And internal change is permanent. The liberation of control. Breakthrough is liberation. No longer are you a slave to bills, loans, or credit card statements. No longer do you worry about whether the next paycheck will cover essentials. No longer are your decisions driven by fear or urgency. Instead, you act with intention. You invest, spend, and save strategically. You plan for the long term. You anticipate opportunities instead of reacting to crises. And the feeling is intoxicating. Not prideful, not arrogant, just deep, unshakable confidence. Excuses are gone. Breakthrough is also clarity. You realize that the obstacles you once feared were often imagined. The excuses that held you back are gone. No longer can you blame circumstance, luck, or others for your situation. You take full responsibility not as a burden, but as power. Because responsibility means control. Control means freedom. And freedom means possibility. The turning point. Breakthrough is the turning point. That it's not a single moment, it's a series of small wins, accumulated over weeks, months, and years. It's the compound effect of discipline, sacrifice, consistency, and learning. It's the natural result of choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. And once it happens, there is no turning back. You have crossed a threshold. You are no longer the person who reacts, fears, or drifts. You are the person who builds, plans, and creates. Your new life begins. Your breakthrough is the start of a new life. A life where financial decisions empower, not restrict. A life where momentum fuels progress. A life where your vision isn't just a dream, it is a blueprint. You are no longer controlled by money. You control it. You are no longer chasing validation. You create value. You are no longer reactive. You act strategically. This is your breakthrough. This is your turning point. This is your new life beginning. The takeaway: breakthrough is not measured in dollars alone. It is measured in identity. It is measured in freedom. It is measured in momentum and confidence. It is the reward for discipline, sacrifice, and consistency. It is the culmination of every act you have lived through, from awakening to first wins, from sacrifice to persistence. The person you are becoming is undeniable. Your potential is limitless. And the life you once dreamed of is no longer distant. Step forward. Embrace your new identity. Harness your momentum. Because the breakthrough is yours, and it is only the beginning.